So the Supreme Court appears poised to rule for parents who objected to LGBTQ content in elementary schools. So some parents in Montgomery County, MD, say they have a religious right to ensure their children are unexposed to LGBTQ books in the classroom. And this case was brought before the Supreme Court, after lower courts ruled against the parents. But on Tuesday, the Supreme Court heard oral arguments in the case, and it seems like the conservative majority is siding with those parents. Now, the question before the court was whether the parents had standing to sue the school board, because they did unlike these books with LGBTQ themes being available in school libraries. And even though the school board argued that the parents failed to show that their children were actually exposed to these books or that they would be exposed to them in the future, Justice Alito seemed to disagree. And he pointed out that the mere availability of these books was, in and of itself, a violation of the parents' religious rights. Here's what he said. It seems to me that if parents are correct, and I'm putting aside for a moment the question of damages, it seems to me that the mere availability of these books is enough to make them to make their children to put their children in a situation that violates their rights. Now, during the oral arguments, some of the justices seemed to side with the school board, arguing that there was no evidence that any of the kids read these books or even that they were compelled by the books. But conservatives on the bench seemed to push back on that notion. Justice Thomas said, "I think we've kind of lost track of the fact that this is a book issue. It's not a hypothetical issue of a parent saying, 'I object to all these topics.' This is a case about particular books that are in libraries that are available for students to check out. And I think it would be unusual for us to hold that, you know? Just the fact that one can obtain a book that one finds objectionable is enough to state a claim. But that's not what the law is in this area. Yeah, I'm not sure why liberals are so offended by this. They're concerned about protecting children from certain books. Then just don't make those books available in schools. That shouldn't be too much to ask. You want to provide kids with books that celebrate diversity and inclusion. Fine. But why not also provide options for parents who want their kids to be shielded from certain topics? Is that really too much to ask? Now, after the oral arguments concluded, many commentators expressed confidence that the conservative majority would rule in favor of the parents. And frankly, I tend to agree. The court has consistently shown support for religious freedom and parental rights. And this case seems like a clear-cut issue of protecting both. Again, if liberals are truly concerned about preventing kids from reading books they deem inappropriate, then simply make those books unavailable in schools. It's not that hard. But until then, it seems the Supreme Court will continue to side with those who seek to protect their children from inappropriate content. I'm the host. Thanks for listening.